Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of my Halloween series review. I went ahead and skipped past part 5, which would have been The Curse of Michael Myers, because that was actually the first Halloween review I did before I decided to do this whole Halloween series review. So without further ado, let's jump right into Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers stars Donald Pleasence, Danielle Harris, and is directed by Dominic Othen-Gerard. So Halloween 5 opens up with, we see a flashback from Halloween 4. They show you exactly what happened at the end of the movie. And then it cuts right to, kind of like they did in Halloween 2, it picks up the second that the previous movie left off. So we see what happened to Michael Myers after he was shot down that mine shaft, and he floats out into the water, and then this old hermit picks him up and takes care of him. And during this time, Jamie is in a mental ward and she is mute, and she is dealing with what happened the previous year. So Michael awakens a year later on Halloween night in the old hermit's house, and he kills the hermit. And so simultaneously we see that Jamie feels everything that Michael is feeling. She can see almost through his eyes. And this scene kind of sets up what is going on inside Jamie's head. So then Michael is on the run, and the whole movie is Michael's pursuit of Jamie. Halloween 5 really tried to move the series into a new direction, and it brought some interesting elements to the series. It's definitely a mixed bag. There are a few things I like about it, and there's a lot of things that I don't like about it. First of all, I did like Don Shanks as Michael Myers. I thought he really looked the part. He was a really big guy, and he seemed to take each scene really seriously. And he had that whole force element to him, you know, whereas Michael is a force, and Don Shanks encompasses that quite well. The mask is also one of the most unique masks in the series. I remember when I first saw it, I wasn't a big fan of the mask at all, but it has kind of grown on me through the years. Another thing that Halloween 5 gets really well is the third act. I thought director Dominic did a great job with making the third act nail-biting and tension-filled. And part of the reason was the film is lit very well. The cinematography is really dark, and there's a grittiness to it. And I also like the performances between Donald Pleasence and Danielle Harris and Don Shanks. I thought they did a great job of keeping you on the edge of your seat, always worrying what's going to happen next to Jamie. And there were definitely some times where I thought he might actually get her. I mean, the laundry scene, for instance, was done really well, I thought. And also the car chase scene where Michael is chasing Jamie in the woods. That scene is lit very well. And after the third act in part 4, I didn't think they could top themselves, but I almost want to say they topped themselves with part 5. Another thing I liked about Halloween 5 is it introduced new ideas to the series. They took a lot of risks. I remember when I saw it back in the theater back in '89, and the Man in Black showed up. And I was immediately intrigued. I was like, who in the hell is this guy? And then when you see that he's got the thorn symbol on his wrist, oh, okay, this guy's tied in with Michael. I wonder where they're going to go with it. Well, they went nowhere, but I remember back then I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And it is a ballsy movie. I mean, the Myers house in the movie, it looks like a mansion. It looks unlike any other Myers house in the whole series. I mean, all of them pretty much look close to the original, except for 5. It looks like a gothic mansion. But under the circumstances, it kind of fits in the story, even though you know that it's ludicrous and this looks nothing like the house and it kind of kills the continuity of the series. But if you're able to set that aside and look at Halloween 5 as just a simple slasher flick, that those aspects won't bother you. Halloween 5 has a lot of bad aspects to it though. One being the score. It's probably one of the laziest scores in the whole series, even if it wasn't intended to be. The Halloween theme is iconic, but when it's overused, it can become annoying, and it is highly overused in this movie, and not even like full scale. Like, there are scenes where all you hear is like, it sounds like Alan Howarth is just one finger in it on the piano. And also there are comedy aspects in the score because of the cops. And he even has like some honks and whistles, and I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that one. And it really takes away from the tension, and it takes you out of the movie. Also, I thought Rachel's death was handled quite poorly. She is one of the best characters in Part 4. And I know these characters aren't going to last every movie, but I think Halloween 5 would have been a better movie if they used Rachel instead of, which brings me to my next point, Tina. I would probably wager that Tina is one of the most hated heroines in horror history. She's usually the first thing that comes to mind when you ask somebody, what do you not like about Halloween 5? So annoying that by the point when she dies, you're happy. And lastly, I thought making Jamie deaf was not a good idea. I think the reason they were doing that is because Michael doesn't talk, and they were using that, but it was pointless because they didn't really press forward with the idea. You know, Jamie wasn't the killer. She was just a victim in Part 5 who had to overcome insurmountable odds. You know, for years and years and years, Halloween 5 was probably one of my least favorite Halloween movies. But I gotta say, there's a quality to it, and it has really grown on me over the years. And maybe it's because of its quirkiness and its how ballsy it is, and maybe because they got a French director, and it really stands on its own, and I gotta give it credit for that. Unlike Resurrection, which is completely forgettable and a movie you'd never want to watch again, there's something about Halloween 5 that constantly pulls me back in, and it actually has a high rewatchability value to it. So as a Halloween fan, I would definitely give Halloween 5 purchase worthy. If you're not a fan of this series, this movie is not going to be good to you. But there are people like me who will say that Halloween 5 has grown on them. Also guys, if you get this box set, make sure you check out the bonus discs, because that's where they put the documentary for Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. And those are really, really well done documentaries, and I actually had a lot of fun with the documentary for Part 5. Guys, thanks for watching my channel. Subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and Humdrum out.